much did you make as a teacher in Japan? Not much more than my first job, actually. I think with the exchange rate back then, it was like $2,300 a month. But I was also paying way less in rent. So it was, you know, doable. And I didn't do like a lot of traveling. I didn't spend a lot while I was over there. So I just put a lot of money in savings. I'm thinking of doing JET since the American job market is a nightmare at the moment and I graduate this year. Honestly, it's a pretty good option. I really enjoyed my time over there. If you live responsibly, it's very easy to put money in savings. It does largely depend on where you end up. I was not in a major city. I was in a city, but not like a major city. If you live in Tokyo or something like that, it's going to be more expensive. But housing in Japan is surprisingly cheap. When I used to watch TikTok more, there was a Japanese realtor I used to like occasionally. I didn't follow him, but I would see his videos pop up all the time. And you can get surprisingly nice places for very cheap over there. So, I mean, honestly, if you have the opportunity and you think you'd enjoy it, go for it. I loved it. I had a lot of fun. I think the one thing I would say about JET program, and any program like that, honestly, is you do still have to remember that it is a job. I knew several people who did JET program, which is, you know, like teaching in Japan or any country. And they just treat it like an extended vacation and they don't take the job seriously. And they give us all a bad reputation. You still have to remember that it is a job. You are going there to work. And that is what will be expected of you. Each work location is going to have different expectations for you, but you can't just treat it like a year-long party, right? You do still have to go to work every day. You still have to, you know, make lesson plans and stuff like that. My school was very hands-off, but I also got like half of the class period all to myself every single day. So I did a lot. I know a lot of schools that just want you to be a tape recorder, essentially. They just want you to like read out of the textbook so that students can hear like a natural sounding voice. I talk a lot about this in my videos that I've already posted. So if you're curious to hear more about that, I'm a bit more articulated if you go back and watch those videos. I talk about my personal experience, but again, your mileage will vary. I definitely recommend like browsing the JET subreddit. I don't really even use Reddit, but I lurked on the JET program subreddit super hard and like the years before I went, learning about like the application process. This is just a thing with me. When I am anxious, I research. When something is making me nervous, I look up every single possible thing I can about that. I spent like a year and a half researching the JET program before I finally applied. And by that point, I felt so fucking prepared. The cure for anxiety is preparedness, right? It's the same thing with when I started doing art freelance. I was really nervous about not being able to make enough money. And so I spent like a full year before I went freelance, spending all of my free time doing research, essentially. I made spreadsheets. I made lists of like ideas and shit. I planned. I looked up how to do the taxes. I looked up what the rates would be. I looked up how to get clients. I did a year's worth of research. My entire final year in Japan, whenever I had free time at work, which ended up being a lot because after your first year, you can just reuse lesson plans and it gets way easier. My guide for anything is to just, if it makes you nervous, just do a shit ton of research. Research will never hurt you, right? I try to go into everything reasonably prepared, and I think it has helped me a lot in the long run. So